What is up, my friends? It is time to do what I've wanted to do for a long time, and that is... There's 9 people. I didn't think this would work. All right, let's give it a shot.
2 hours later.
So the backbone of this video was talking about my favorite thing that Halo Reach ever did, and that was Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. But it looks like there's not a chance that I'm gonna get matched up with these other 9 people. So that makes me kind of sad. I'm gonna go into the archives and I'm gonna pull out some of my favorite games from CE. Oh.
1 eternity later.
Yeah, so I gave up on that. I apologize. But we're going to go into the archives. I'm going to find some of my favorite matches from 8 years ago, or any of the matches from 8 years ago, to talk about CEA. While I look for that footage, you enjoy this lovely clip that I found from like 8 years ago that made me laugh. The stars aligned in that clip for sure. So here is some old school CEA footage. If you don't know, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary released back in November 2011, 8 years ago. And a few years ago, I even said that this was my favorite Halo release of all time from a multiplayer perspective. I don't know if that's true to this day or if I was being just a little bit too sentimental at the time, but I do love this. So to explain what this is, Halo CEA was coming together of multiple developers. You had Microsoft Studios and 343 Industries publishing this guy. It was actually one of 343's earliest projects for the Halo franchise. Then you had Saber Interactive, the studio, working on the campaign. So Halo CEA's campaign is the original Halo CE with a fresh coat of paint on top of it. And that fresh coat of paint, like the new texture work that they did, really improves some of the levels, like the library, for instance. They put little arrows on the floor to kind of give you an indication of where you should go. Here's where it gets interesting though. Certain Affinity put together the multiplayer side of Halo CEA. They did not have the time or the resources to do a full-on remaster for the multiplayer of Halo CE. Oh, look at that, the Origins bundle, I remember that. Oh, that thing was so cool. It gave you both titles, Reach and CEA, and I think if I remember right, it was priced pretty, well. Anyway, the multiplayer side of things, like I was saying, became a spiritual successor to CE utilizing Reach. So they took Halo Reach, they added some new maps, and they changed the sandbox settings. So you still have the 3-shot pistol, you don't have any abilities, and the jump and movement mechanics are very different. Like jumping, you cannot jump very high. And the reason why I think it worked so well, as long as you weren't looking for the purest Halo CE experience, is because the Reach pistol in the Reach engine does not have the same laser beam properties that Halo CE had, okay? If any of you have played Halo 1 against a really experienced player, you know it's like fighting a bunch of people with sniper rifles up 24/7 and spawn prediction. Like if they're a player that knows what they're doing, CE players are some of the most skilled, incredible to watch Halo players of all time. If you get the chance to watch some of the old OG like H1 pros play, do. Super impressive. But the reason why I think it was so fun in Halo Reach was, like I said, it was different. It wasn't a carbon copy of Halo CE. And at the time, you've got to kind of understand the Halo Reach player-based sentiment. Reach launched with settings that were not optimal for the sandbox, and it took a long time for them to start adapting, and by them, I mean Bungie and 343 to a certain extent, start adapting the sandbox to make it a better performing game. Around the same time that Halo CEA was coming out, there was some settings floating around of no bloom Slayer. No bloom, no sprint Slayer. And I don't think I have footage of it anymore, but that's actually where I met one of my best Halo friends of all time, Arctic. And he and I were just playing no bloom, no sprint customs, and that ultimately became what the MLG settings were. And that was like the best era for Halo Reach MLG, is when they took bloom away, they took sprint out of the game, and it actually became a very fun, fast-paced Halo title. 343 looked at those no bloom, no sprint kind of options and built Title Update Slayer, which nobody plays anymore, which makes no sense to me. I guess in the BTB playlist for Halo Reach, people play Title Update settings, but that was reduced bloom and altered sandbox settings to make the abilities, armor block in particular and a few others, perform better in the sandbox. So that's all happening in and around the release of Halo CEA. I don't remember the exact timeframes and dates of how everything went, but CEA was the chance to get to play Halo Reach without sprint, without armor abilities, in a sandbox that was more classic. It brought back a lot of the more classic feeling plays, and I remember, I think Campy played a ton of CEA at the time and was putting together some amazing clips, and it showed people just because base game settings aren't optimal doesn't mean the game can't evolve into something really awesome. And that is something that I've carried with me, and I think a lot of Halo players should carry with them moving forward, thinking about Halo in general. I don't always like the launch settings of FPS titles. If we're speaking strictly for Halo, Halo 4's launch settings weren't optimal, but a year and a half later when that title update came out, it ended up being pretty darn fun. Halo 5, I think its settings actually remained fairly stagnant throughout. It had its different eras and different changes, but for the most part, I feel like that game played pretty similarly throughout its whole life cycle. But man, seeing some of these classic maps like Beaver Creek over here, oh, dropping snipes, that's not good, Dragoon, you gotta finish that bad boy off. So, long story short, I'm bringing this to you guys to show you one of my favorite eras of Halo. Oh, I love this, dude. It was just so fun. Limited movement really punishes players for being out of position. And when you have sprint and thruster pack and ground pound and all these different things, it changes the meta, it changes the sandbox, it changes what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. So I don't know if this would appeal to a modern audience at all. I do hope that when Reach gets here on PC, it will breathe life into this, because I'm still searching and our 9 players is down to 6. And I would love to play some more of this. I grinded this for so long. And what ultimately drew me away from CEA is they took away the FFA playlist that they had. So they had like a 4v4 playlist, BTB, and FFA. And FFA and CEA, that's a lot of acronyms I know, but Free For All was awesome. It was so much fun, and ended up taking it away. There was there was just one big team map that was actually pretty fun. I don't know, I always thought there was huge potential with CEA and that they should have pursued doing more with this type of thing. Would you like to see this in other Halo titles? Like, could you imagine if Halo 5 had, other than just like a mode, other than just like, here's the throwback playlist, which is fun, it gives you a sense of Halo 3 in those older settings. But I don't know, having developer-made maps and having something proper like this, like full-on release, I think that would be really cool. This is, I guess, akin to an expansion pack. You know, it was a standalone release, but the multiplayer, you could just purchase the multiplayer outright like an expansion pack if you wanted to. I think I ended up giving my physical, the download code away to one of my buddies, in fact. And I would love to see something like that moving forward. I think that would be really cool. And it lets people see, like, the base settings are not stagnant. Games evolve, games change, and these titles are kind of like blank canvases that the developers get to pour themselves into. Dude, I forgot about this. This was a pretty fun gameplay. Like, we're shredding up here. Okay. Oh, okay, we did at least get him with the second rocket. I was a little bit worried there. So as the gameplay closes out, just a quick friendly reminder to you guys, if you haven't yet, sign up for the Halo Insider program. This is how you can test early builds of upcoming Halo stuff. And you're going to get the chance to give your feedback directly to 343. Good times indeed. I will miss you, Halo CEA. So again, sign up for Halo Insider, link in the description below. That's your best bet to get to test out Halo Reach as it gets brought into MCC, and give your feedback to 343. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel. Please thumbs the video up, and also hit the little alarm bell. Sub boxes haven't been working too great as of lately. Follow me on Twitter at BBK Dragoon. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Adios.